Alright everybody, so that's SUMARI Dark Arts video 127. So I had a comment from someone, a subscriber. I hope they're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, it's okay, but if you do watch my videos and you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe. Gives me more motivation. The more people I see that subscribe to come out here and talk about things. But either way, that's not important for now. So this person wrote a comment, and I'll read it. You can read it yourselves as well. It's on the page of video 126, but they basically said, this is from @GregoryTrotter. He said, can you talk about the concept of a chosen one? Chosen ones, okay? Can you talk about the concept of a chosen one? If we are the gods, then is just the certain individuals, I believe you say, is it just certain individuals are born with certain gifts, talents? For example, I learned to spell before preschool. I started playing the drums at 4 at church, and I just do things that shock others. Never had a lot of friends, never really felt comfortable in groups, just didn't really fit in. People would be friendly to me, and then they would switch up on me out of nowhere. I'm like, why do they behave like that towards me? I was just more different from the most I felt. And then he added a little bit extra and said, like, I'm 35 now, and I just get strange looks and reactions from men, women, children, doesn't matter what age or race. I reside in Los Angeles, California, and I have to say, in 2026 out here, people are acting very strangely when I come near or approaching. Okay, @GregoryTrotter. So, yeah, let's get into this. There are, yeah, I always use references to things that we've probably heard throughout time in this physical reality through movies, stories, legends, books of the chosen ones, so-called chosen ones. And what does it mean to be a chosen one? Why would you want to be a chosen one? And I think it basically comes down to all individuals want to feel special, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone wants to feel special. Everyone wants to feel appreciated in life because, as we know, physical life can be very hard. It doesn't have to be, but unfortunately, most of the time, it's other individuals in this reality that are making it hard for you, whether it be in the form of family members, friends, bosses. It could come in many different forms. Even as far as where you are born, that alone could be a challenge. If you're born in a rougher part of the world, then hey, life does seem hard. And in some cases, it could even seem to be hell on earth, depending on what your experience is at the time. And we all want to feel that there's more to life than just whatever we're experiencing. We all want that. Everybody wants that. Everyone wants to feel something, that there's more. But it's not just the fact of you wanting to feel that there's something more. You know intuitively that there's something more. See, this concept of a chosen one or the chosen ones, it really stems from the intuitive knowledge of the inner self, aware that whatever you're experiencing at the moment, that's not all that there is, that there's always something else going on. And as he said in his comments, that basically he's always felt different. He has always felt that he was able to learn things, pretty much pick up quicker than others. People would stare at him, children. There are many reasons why these things happen. Sometimes people are just looking at you, and that's it. They're just looking. There's no real reason. They just look. Maybe you look interesting. Maybe there's something about you. But on the other hand, a lot of times it comes from you. None of us, as I said before, we're not really human, right? So we all have these other existences that are taking place simultaneously with the one going on with us with here in physical reality. And a lot of time there's an inner knowing, the inner self, an intuitive knowledge that recognizes They have a phrase, back home. It's like real recognizes real. It's basically the same thing sometimes, that a real entity, a real multidimensional being can recognize another multidimensional being. And that could be in the form of you walking down the street, minding your own business, someone else is minding their own business, and then boom, they just look at you. And they might not even be aware that they personally, the physical them, is looking at you, but the inner self, which they are, but they might not be aware of, notices you and it recognizes you. And it might give you that look, that wink of an eye, that smile, that nod of the head. And that doesn't mean that you have to go approach the person and have a full conversation with them and become their best friends. But it's just an inner recognition that is being externalized and materialized in the physical realm. So they'll look at you and they'll nod their head, or they'll just give you a look like, yeah, we're in the same boat, we're one in the same family. And they recognize what you are, and they're giving you your recognition. Now, you don't have to look for this recognition, and you shouldn't have to feel the need to, receive recognition from others. You have to just recognize what you are, and that has to be enough. And if you do get recognition from others, then that's good too. But don't expect it, and don't walk around, looking for it or expecting these things to happen, because that in itself could lead to a whole new, how do I say, like, you can get caught up in that of constantly going around. Like, that could become a mission of life in itself, just searching the world looking for people to give you recognition about things, recognition that you don't need. But it is nice when you have it. It's nice to have. So yeah, a lot of us, it's almost like it becomes a bit trivial, right? Because you hear people always say, and I'm not attacking you, Greg, but I'm just making a point, that people always say, well, I've always felt different. And you see a lot of people who claim to be psychics, spiritual workers, and they always leave with that, where they're like, well, I've always known I was different. When I was a child, I would speak to animals and all these things. Now, maybe that was true for them, and I'm not saying this to degrade them. However, everyone is special. If you want to think in terms of a chosen one, what exactly are you looking for within that term? What does it mean to be a chosen one? Chosen one for what exactly? Now, I get where you're coming from, that you do feel that there's something unique about you. And there is. There's something unique about all of us. Everyone is unique. Everyone is special. However, some of us tend to shine just a bit more than others. And that comes from the fact that some of us are just a bit more aware of what we are. And when you're a bit more aware of what you are, you tend to shine a bit more than the rest. That's just how it goes. So if you are a lot more intuitive than the average individual in this reality, there are things that you will pick up on faster. You will sense the danger before it happens. You'll stop right before crossing the street, and then the car comes blazing by, and it could, remove you from this reality in that moment. You sense the danger when you get on the train, and you decide to get off, and as soon as you get off, you see 6 gang members doing a walkthrough on the subway. You intuitively wake up in the middle of the night because you feel something's wrong, and it turns out that you left the gas on the oven. There's so many ways that it could come, and all this just comes from the fact that you are just a bit more intuitive, or a lot more intuitive than the average individuals. And we've all had this. Many of us have. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I'm not a children person. Like, I don't vibe with kids. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just some people, you need a special type of individual that loves to deal with children. I'm not one of them. So I'm more adult oriented as far as like teaching and doing things. But I've had it where even just as recently as yesterday, you're walking somewhere, and it is amazing to see parents pushing a child in a baby carriage, and the kid looks no younger than, just say, could be 4 years old, 3 or whatever, and they're just staring. And there's plenty of people walking by, But as soon as they lock eyes with you and you lock eyes with them, you feel something different. They look at you, they almost do like a double take. And I've had them literally turn all the way around in the baby carriage and just to keep looking at me. Like, they're literally, their head is following. The mother's like, oh, what are you doing? They're catching the kid's about to fall out. You have parents, well, I've had parents, and you probably have too, walking and carrying them. Plenty of people going by, the kid doesn't care at all. You walk by, lock eyes with it, and suddenly the child is doing a 360, almost like the Exorcist, trying to get a good view of you. And you could almost feel where the child is basically is saying like, oh my God, like, what the hell is that? Or, I know him, I know that guy. And these are just things that go on, man. It's nothing to read too much into. As I said, anything you decide to focus on, you could spend a whole lifetime reading into. You could spend a lifetime just focusing on, why do people stare at you? Why do children look at other individuals? And if that's what someone wants to do, hey, more power to them. They can do it. But yeah, we've all had the experiences that it's easy to believe that you are chosen for something, especially when you live in a world where most people pretty much go about life in a very mundane way. They wake up, they go to work, they don't really think of anything outside the box in terms of consciousness or creativity, and they live a very dull life. And people like that, they don't believe in anything. They don't believe in anything at all. So when you come along and you start, and the part I'm getting to now is where you talked about people changing up on you, and we've all had this. You have to understand, a lot of people have, not all, and I know people will disagree with me on this, but many individuals in this reality have deeply rooted problems that are mostly self-created. And it could come in a range of all types of issues where they just have certain personality quirks or just personality issues. And a lot of people have these things. And if you are more in tune with yourself and what you are, these type of individuals can be difficult to deal with because you feel almost a bit separated from them. You feel like you don't connect with them, or you don't connect with anybody, or most people. Especially if you're in an environment where everyone is following the same thing. I mean, put yourself in a case where if you're in a specific country or within a certain environment where they have very strict religious rules, and you just see things differently. Whatever they're teaching, whatever religious ideologies they're pushing, you don't see it that way at all. You have a completely different perspective or sense of what's going on. You can't talk about it. In some cultures, you might even be killed for speaking on it. They might claim that you are possessed or there's something wrong with you. And if you continue to talk about it, it could lead to some issues for you. Sometimes even your early demise and removal from that existence. So you end up becoming a recluse, basically, and you become more you turn more inward to yourself, and you just start shutting people out because it's like, well, I mean, imagine the time, if we want to go into the religious realm, right? Just imagine if people want to believe in Jesus Christ, imagine what Jesus Christ went through when he first came up with the things he was saying. I mean, man, I would have loved to have been there to witness that, because just imagine the things that Christ was claiming to do and be, it just wasn't popular at the time. And it stirred up a lot of emotion. And to this day, you fast forward thousands of years later, people still fight over this. Because whatever was happening back then, even though all time is simultaneous, so it's actually happening now. But that's another story. But just imagine that you have an established religious order and a way of doing things. You have emperors. You have all these things happening. And someone comes along talking about they are the Son of God. It's too jarring for people to accept. And even now, people talk about, well, Christ is going to return someday. He's coming, he's returning. If you look at the current atmosphere, the way reality is here, Christ could return right now, and people would say, man, that shit is AI. That ain't no Christ. That's AI. That's what people would say. because this is the reality that has been formed at the current state that this video is being made. So how would we even know? How would individuals even know if Christ did return in this theory? Let's say Christ does return. How would people know that that's actually Christ? They wouldn't believe it, you know? And Christ would have to perform some miracles, of course, to convince people. They wouldn't know. People these days, even though they claim to believe, they won't just believe in some individual coming forward saying, I am the Son of God. No one's going to believe that as of now in 2026. People don't want to believe in things without seeing some physical evidence. And even when you provide the proof, there's so many different positions that people have that try to go against those things that happen. So Christ comes down, comes from wherever, claims, hey, I'm the Son of God, I'm back, I have returned. You're going to have one group, he does some miracles. One group is going to claim, man, that is AI, that's all, those are all deep fakes. People who do actually see the miracles up close, then you have the skeptics coming out, you have the scientists coming out, everyone's going to come forward, they're going to offer reasonable explanations, logical explanations for it. It's a mass hysteria, this person is a fraudster. They're going to come out with every angle in the book to deny that this is the Son of God. So this is just the way it is in this existence. In that story, if there was an individual who came forward and claimed to be Jesus Christ, the only people that are going to go along with that are those that already believe in that realm of reality. If they follow those beliefs in that belief system, they'll believe it more than others. And others won't believe, and that's just the way it is. And that's the way it has always been throughout history. Any group that has come forward, any gods, any beings, any entities, they needed someone, and they've had followers that believed in them. And yeah, it's as simple as that. You know, everyone's going to have something that they believe in. So don't walk around expecting to have a sign that you are a chosen one. Because at the end of the day, all of us are special. But it really comes back to, and I've said it many times and I'll keep saying it over and over again in future videos, it comes down to the fact that you create your own reality. Now, I'm not the first person to say that. It hasn't originated with me, but it has been said throughout time by others. And it's just the truth. You create your own reality. So if you want, see, look, this is the thing, right? When you say that, when you hear that you choose your own reality, you create your own reality, it's very challenging for the individual to accept this, because all the responsibility now goes to you. This is what makes it difficult. As you say, because whatever's happening in your life, if you believe and you say, well, I create my own reality, then that means that argument you had yesterday with your husband, you created that. That fight you had with your boss at work, you created that. The dispute you had down on the basketball court, you created that. And you probably would say, well, I didn't create that. I didn't want to have a fight with this guy. And the truth is, maybe you didn't. But when the argument started, what did you do? Did you walk away? Did you give into your ego and exchange words back? Because if you walked away, you would have looked like a coward, or people would have called you a punk or whatever. And see, this is how things just keep manifesting. So perhaps that person that challenged you at that time was a test in the form of, see, this is what you have to remember. You create your reality, right? So you have, on this side, you create your reality. But then you have another individual. They are also creating their reality. And so now you have two individuals, two beings, two souls, two entities, both who are wanting to create their own reality. And now what's happening is that the realities are not matching together. They're not fitting together. And most time it comes down to, you have one individual who wants to impose their reality on someone else. this is where a lot of stress comes from, because you have one individual that believes reality should be one way, another one who believes it should be another. They both have opposing ideas, and now you have a conflict, and now you have a fight, and now you have a war, and you have a murder, and this is how things just get out of hand. But it always comes down to conflicting creators. That's how you should look at it. So when you have someone that's trying to argue with you, start a fight, you have to see it from the position of this person, whatever they're going through at the moment, they're manifesting their reality. And now they're trying to, or attempting to, sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously, they're attempting to pull you into their reality by getting you to acquiesce and accept their demands or whatever they're trying to push on you or force you into. And the moment you say, well, I don't want to do that, or I don't like what's happening here, it becomes a problem. Everyone is creating their own realities subjectively. But then, of course, the subjective reality becomes an objective reality because we're not alone. We're not sitting alone in a bubble. We are sharing this reality with others. So, if you want to feel that you are chosen, hey, maybe that might make life more interesting for you. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know, I'm not being sarcastic right now. Some individuals, all individuals have things and need to have things and should have things that make life more interesting for them. If you want to believe, remember, it comes back to you create your own reality. If you want to believe that you are a chosen one, more power to you. You are a chosen one. And perhaps that narrative will help make your life more interesting. Perhaps it will help you grow faster and stronger than you would if you didn't have that belief. And even perhaps it may even give you some form of discipline and structure, depending on how you form this concept and this belief around yourself that you're a chosen one. For example, you could say, well, I am a chosen one, therefore I will meditate X amount of times a day. I will eat these foods. I will have a strict exercise regimen, routine that I'll go by, and I won't deal with certain types of people. I will help people as much as I can. See, in that case, there's nothing wrong with it. But just remember, you are creating that reality. And it's a nice reality. Hey, some people do need structure and discipline in their lives. And believing that they are chosen or selected can help. All I would say is don't run into the risk, though, of becoming a type of elitist. Don't start feeling that you are better than everyone and now I'm looking down on everyone because I am the chosen one. Remember, if you believe that you're a chosen one, that means there are probably a lot of other individuals who believe they're chosen ones. And what happens when chosen one group A comes in conflict with chosen one group B, and they come together, and if the concepts don't match, now you have a little battle on your hands, or at least an argument. And you can't get angry because, hey, you believe that you're chosen, but they also have the right to believe that they're chosen. And you can either accept their reality that they're chosen, or you could deny it. And it's really up to you on what you want to do. So you could just move on and not have contact with these people, or you could contact with them and network, and maybe you'll find something, maybe you could help each other grow. So as far as people changing on you or changing up on you, that's just life, man. You know, it happens all the time, it happens to all of us. You meet a person today, we've all had it. Excuse me. You meet a person today, they're super cool. Super cool. Oh man, what's going on? Yeah. You're talking, you're doing all this stuff. Nice person. You see them the next day, yo man, what's up? They just look at you and keep walking. Everybody's going through something, man. And it's not your business to worry about what are they going to. You don't have to worry about what another individual is going through. Everyone doesn't have to like you. You don't have to like everyone. You just go about your way. And don't let those individuals change you. If you feel that you're a good person and you like helping people, or you're creative, you maintain on that path and you keep going about it. Just because someone is giving you a hard time, and this is to everyone, I'm not speaking specifically to Gregory here, I'm just speaking in general to everyone. if you feel certain people are just shady and or fake and phony, and one day they're smiling, the next day you're not, you don't have to deal with them. Just don't deal with them. I mean, it's nothing to get angry about. You don't have to say, "Oh man, no." Just don't deal with them, or you deal with them as much as you have to. But remember, you write the story. You're writing your story right now. My purpose is simply to come through these videos to help remind a lot of you of where your position lies. And your position lies with you at the center of everything. People say, "Oh, you think it's all about you and the world revolves around you." Well, actually, it pretty much does. Doesn't mean you have to be selfish. Excuse me, guys, a bit dry in here. We get some water. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't mean that you have to walk around and be an asshole to everybody. It just means that you are the center of your reality because you create your reality. And you can make it a nice reality, or you could make it a very lonely one. And it's all up to you. It's always your choice. So people who act phony and fake, don't worry about them, man. I mean, do you really want to have contact with them anyway? I love when people act phony and fake. I love it because it gives me it gives me a justified reason to just cut them off and not deal with them anymore. It's like, oh great, they're fake. Now I don't have to sit here and, BS around with them and pretend that we're cool because they're fake. And I don't like phoniness, just how I am, When I see a person's phony, it's just like, I lose interest. I don't get mad about it. There's nothing for me to get mad about. They're creating their reality. And their reality, they want to be like that. And I don't want to deal with that. So that's just how it goes. So it's a bit short video. Only a few minutes shorter. But yeah, I'll get back here and make another video. More comments in the comments section. Thank you everyone who has commented. Put things down below what you want to talk about, just like Gregory did, and I'll bring it up. And yeah. Don't worry about people out there, man. There's all types of difficult personalities. And as I said, we're all special at the end of the day. Everyone is special. Everyone has their own talents and abilities. And they don't necessarily always align with other people's. Just because you may claim that you have psychic abilities doesn't mean that the next person has to have the same thing. Your specialty might be dreams, your specialty might be music, your specialty might be drawing, art, anything. Whatever your specialty is, other people might not have this exact same thing. And sometimes what happens to us is that because our experience doesn't line up with these stereotypical experiences that everyone else has, we sometimes deny ourselves and say, well, I must not, this must be fake, or it must not be real, I'm being delusional because everyone else does not say that they're able to do this, so that means therefore I must be wrong. But that's another video. So anyway, I'll get out of here. We'll get back soon, and write your comments down below what you want to talk about, and we will get to it. Take care. Love everybody. Later.